Hi everyone, Danielle from Glenbow with our Glenbow from Home weekly installment. This week we're going to be focusing on Pride Month, which is an LGBTQ2S celebration that takes place throughout the month of June in Canada, but also in many places throughout the world. We wanted to take you back into the collections and look at some of the paraphernalia and some of the objects that we've collected over the years to represent community, to represent your belief systems, your connections to community, and how historically people have used things like t-shirts, buttons, badges, and different types of visual imagery on clothing and hats and t-shirts to represent a community that they are inspired by, a part of, or potentially an ally or friend of. Today what we're going to do is look at our collection a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how to make a t-shirt. So we have made this t-shirt. This is the final product. I'm going to take you through all of the steps of making this t-shirt from scratch. You can go and buy things anytime you want, but it's even more fun when you can make something that's very unique, that really represents you as a person. Whatever community you're trying to connect to, whatever you're trying to say about yourself and your uniqueness of yourself, or if you're just wanting to be a friend and ally, which in this case, this is what I'm doing. So we'll step into this, we'll look at some things, and I'll teach you how to make these t-shirts. The first step to our t-shirt printing is drawing out your design and lettering on your Bristol board. I've used a curved ruler so that I can get an arch in my letters. Using an X-Acto knife, cut out your letters. This may be a part that your parents will have to help you with because these knives are very, very sharp, so please be careful. Once we have our letters cut out, we'll line up our template, tape it down to your t-shirt, and get ready to use your fabric paint. Here's what you'll need for your next step. Okay everybody, here we are. We've got our stencil cut out. I've taped everything down, so I'll just show you here. This was our template that we used originally. You can see that. And what I did was I just used an old t-shirt for this, and there's a bit of a cardboard piece in here. You want to use firm paper for this piece in the middle as well as your stencil. And then what I did was I just taped the back of the t-shirt so that it's a little bit tight on the this piece of paper that's inside. I just slid it in. Then what I did was I taped our stencil down. This is going to be our little O. And I've got my colors here ready to go. And there's a couple of choices to use as far as the how you're going to put it down. You usually want to use something like a really, really rough brush. So something that's got a really stiff bristle. These ones I just have bought. Some of them are really old, obviously. But also you can buy this kind of stuff at the dollar store or just craft stores. And they're usually fairly cheap and easy to find. But what I'm going to use today, and you could use sponges as well, but what I'm going to use today is I have these little sort of felt, well, they're washcloths, but what I like to do is just kind of twist it around my finger a little so that I have a little more control. And what I want to do is you're going to hold this down. When you're doing work like this, you always want to make sure that you go from left to right and then top to bottom, because you don't want your hand smudging anything, okay? So I'm going to use this template that I put together, this quick one, has the colors that we use in our Calgary Pride flag. So it's red, orange, yellow, sort of a light blue and then a dark blue and then purple. So I'm going to follow that for my template. When I'm doing this, I want to hold this down quite stiffly, and I just want like a little bit of paint on the end. It's actually good if you can kind of tap it. I don't know if you guys can see that I'm doing that. You tap it like this to kind of dry it off a little bit. That's when the dry brushes come in really handy. And you're just going to start at the top of your letter and just work your way down. And depending on how liquidy your paint is, the less liquidy the better, okay? And you want to get a pretty good saturation in there so that, you know, it looks really nice and bright when we're done. And you want to try and get to the edges. I don't mind if this bleeds a little, actually, because I'm going to finish the t-shirt off after with some kind of details that I'm going to add in later on. And I don't mind that bleeding edge. It'll look kind of funky. So, and again, at first it'll look a little bit blotchy potentially, but that's also because as the paint dries a little, you'll start to see differences in your levels, okay? But get a pretty good thing there. See it bled a tiny bit. That's okay. So then you want to use a different cloth for each color. This one's going to be tough, actually, because I have to put this little O in. And unfortunately, I also made the mistake of, so I'm going to go orange next, using stencil paper that was rolled up. And we're just going to go through, and remember, you're going to get a little dirty and you're going to get a little messy, so expect that your hands are going to get a little dirty and messy, but also make sure that you're wearing some good paint clothes, because you don't want to get good clothes wrecked from doing this kind of stuff. Okay, there's our O. He's pretty good. New little square. Oops. If you have kids too, if you have younger kids, it might be easier to use the bristly brush. Maybe I'll do a demo part with the bristly brush just to show you guys. Because to get the fold in your fingers with this is, oh, I got a little orange in there. It's a bit tough for little guys. Okay, I'll do it with this one. So we're going to go on to our light blue. This is with the bristly brush. Same thing, you want to kind of tap it out. Okay, so what we'll do is I'm going to actually let this dry a little bit. Well, I'll do the heart. I'll let this dry and then I'll move the whole template down to do the love on the bottom. And then that will be the last two colors. But for now, I'm going to move into our heart. So with this heart, what I did was I actually just marked out really lightly with pencil the lines so that I can kind of follow the lines. I'm going to follow the exact same color pattern, and again I'm going to use my my fabric sponge piece. Okay, so here we are with everything kind of finished off. I was just finishing off this edges here. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave this and we're going to let it dry. And then, like I said earlier, once this is dry enough, I'm going to actually take this stencil, move it down, and do the love along the bottom. But I want to let this dry quite a bit before I do that part. So give yourself some time with this as well. And then I'm going to, at the end, I'm going to finish it off with some details. So I'm gonna sign out for now, let this dry, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I finish it off with the details. So here we have our t-shirt. It has dried over a couple of days. I put the love on the bottom with our 2 extra colors. So we have our 6 colors all together from our pride flag in Calgary. And what I've done is now I've just taken these are fabric markers. And again, you can buy these at Michael's. And I'm going to put these into our links below to tell people about where to buy this stuff as well and the best stuff to buy. And this is really fun and easy because you can just use it just like a marker. So you can see that I've added in a little bit of graphic sort of additions to things just to kind of make it a little funkier. So I'm going to do a bit of an outline on the heart, and then I'm going to write is, and then we're going to be ready to go with our t-shirt. So when you're using these things, you kind of want to make sure that you have a little bit of fun, free form hand going on. Okay, everybody, well, I hope you have fun with this project and that you're wearing your t-shirts wherever you'd like. We're using this one for our Pride Parade, but you could do this to represent, you know, communities, sports teams, dance teams, all kinds of different stuff. So I hope you have fun with this and try it out in lots of different ways. Have a great day.